Right. So the job that I showed y'all, something happened. I dropped my GoPro. You see, I have an El Cheapo. A YouTuber by the name of Tim C gave that to me, and I traded him my Precision Glide, Wagtail Precision Glide, for that GoPro. So it's not the greatest, but all this time I've been using it, man, and it's come in handy. But it's hanging on a wing and a prayer right now. It's all screen is cracked. It got wet. It just actually it works when it want to work, but I'll get a new one eventually. But I didn't get footage of the first job, and I barely got footage of the second job because I didn't charge it. It seems my battery is taking a crap, and now it won't hold a charge for maybe only about 20 minutes to a half an hour. And sometimes I don't even know I'm filming, thinking I'm filming. So this rubber, in the beginning, it felt really, really grippy. I mean, worse than Razor Red. I mean, the worst out of all rubbers. What I've noticed is that this rubber protrudes more than any other rubber. So that gives you a better close off. And if I had Sorbo sharpener, I could shave some off, maybe about twice, and get 3 times the longevity out of this rubber. All right, so I think this is the new formula. Now, this is standard cut. I decided to take Robert's suggestion over from Sweden. He's a Swiss guy, I do believe. So I've taken his suggestion and he puts it in his Unger or Ettore, and he said it works great. Now, I found it to be really grippy on the glass, but after I wore that sucker in, it's just like Razor Red. And you see, I told y'all before I favor longevity rubbers more than performance-wise, but this has performance. It gets right up to that edge, which is fantastic. This is a softer rubber. But Sorbo told me that this rubber takes a beating, a licking, and keep on ticking. Now, I know it's not nowhere near Razor Red, which is my favorite rubber. My second favorite rubber is the Wagtail Blue, but it doesn't last long. Razor Red lasts the longest, and after you clean a few windows with it, it moves nice. Now, this, however, was really grippy. The flex, you have to hold your hand a little bit different with it in the Wagtail because of the extra rubber that is exposed. So you will have a lot of resistance if you don't hold your hand right, because instead of the rubber being on the crease part, it's more or less on the underneath that. So you'll get a more resistance that way. If you hold your channel where the blade is that way, you see you have too much rubber flexing over that metal channel. So that means you would have to squeegee a certain way. It took me a while to get used to that flex part. It's not a big deal. But I gotta tell you, as I started cleaning the windows more and more, it started getting more slick on the glass. Now, I started to enjoy that. Now, Unger has some stickiness to it, all right? Which is what we have here. I'm used to the stickiness, but do I like the Sorbo rubber? I haven't used it long enough to say yes, but so far, I'm liking it, despite the very, very sticky resistance I got when I first started to use the rubber. But you see, when you have a rubber that's very tough like that, it will start to perform better as you start to use it more and more. This is my experience with these longevity rubbers. The rubbers that don't last long out the gate performance-wise, they are some of the best rubbers to get started with right away, right out the box. Mormon. Next, let's go back to Mormon. I will give you more feedback on the Sorbo, but I wanted to tell y'all what I've learned so far from the short use of only 2 jobs with that rubber. 2 jobs it took for me to start realizing the rubber started to move nicer on the glass. Now this Mormon rubber, it doesn't last long at all. 2 years ago when I've used this rubber, it chewed up on the ends very, very fast. And it seems that they didn't change that. Now, what they might have changed is the way it moves on the glass. It seems to move a little bit better. But I don't think they're interested in keeping that rubber lasting long, because ain't no money in something lasting long. They don't make things to last long anymore. They make it so it'll break down on you and you got to replace it eventually. There's no money in that. Sorbo, however, cares because he used to be a window cleaner. So he makes things that will last, like the end of that mop, of the S-arm. You will never punch a hole through that mop ever again with his mop. With his handle, it is built to last. And if you don't believe me, take a look at this next clip.
Hey, thank you.
You know, you see, they steamrolled that bad boy and couldn't take it down. Yeah, they might have bent the channel. Oh, of course, it's made of metal, but that handle isn't made of metal, and they couldn't take that handle down, man. They couldn't take it down. Now I've had some handles that I thought were okay, but they fell apart in my hands, and one of them split, and the other, it failed. I'm not going to get into what handle that was. Some of you been following me already know. I'm not going to put no companies on the spot like that. If they'd rather use cheap materials, that's fine. That'll save them some bucks. And they figure, oh, I'll just get another handle. Yeah, you just get another handle and risk having the same thing happen all over again. Who cares if we make it built to last? We're trying to make money here. I guess that's their logic, huh? Some logic. So let's get the rubber so I can show you what I mean. All right. So as you can see, pieces of the rubber, I'm able to pull it off with my fingernail. Now that's not good. This rubber is not cheap. It's quite expensive. So not only the con of this, they marked up a rubber based on because of its performance, but not based on its longevity. And there's going to be a lot of ticked off people when they spend good money for a product and they got to trash the rubber after a day's use. That's not a good thing. But let me tell you the good points about this rubber. It's a fantastic rubber, and it moves nice on the glass after a few cleanings of the window, and it gets right up to that crease corner better than most rubbers. And I think Mormon has really focused on detail-free windows. So when you got a rubber that caters to that, now you're talking. But let's not get it twisted. We want our rubbers to last. We want to get some money back out of it and not trash after a day's use or cut the ends off. All right? So this rubber off the gate is good after a few windows. The edge is nice. The longevity sucks. And it rips to shreds on the ends. It has a nice feel to it. It doesn't feel like a silicone rubber, surprisingly. Next, let's move on to Unger. This is the least rubber that I don't like. I don't like this rubber the least, because it's performance-wise, I just don't like it. It serves its purpose, but I don't care for it too much. I get this at Home Depot. They have mediocre rubbers. This is the Unger's low-grade rubber, the 3-star brand. And that's exactly what they put in these packages. And I thought I got gypped, but Unger, it's a low-cut 3-star brand that Unger puts out. And I didn't know that at the time. Next, let's move on to the blue rubber, Wagtail. Now this, I know some people like the red better. Now this rubber lasts longer than the Mormon rubber, but this moves better than that out the gate. This tends to be a little bit more better than this after you clean a few windows in, but it can't touch this when it comes to longevity. Yes, this will wear out faster too than the red ones, but I think performance-wise and moderate longevity-wise, this is a well-rounded rubber. Good and pretty much, I would imagine, cold climates. Some people had trouble with Wagtail rubber in the cold climates. I haven't. Some people have trouble with Razor Red in cold climates. I haven't, because I condition my rubbers, but then, I'm used to it. All right? So, which one is better? Wagtail Red or Wagtail Blue? It's more of a preference at that point, but I think the blue is far better. Far better. Now, this gets worn on the edges quick. Now, I know you can't see, but it is worn, but not tore up like that. I mean, I was surprised at how this rubber looks, man. It amazes me. Now this, however, is Black Diamond Ruby Red. All right? See the logo? Black Diamond. Now this is great out the gate. Hey, that rhymed. Great out the gate. But I'm going to tell you why I don't really use this rubber. Well, it's warm now. But in the slightest amount of cold that's on that window, you will not be able to clean that window without going over it a dozen times. That's bad. This is very, very poor in cold weather. Then again, so is Razor Red, but nowhere near as bad as this. It's horrible. Horrible in cold weather. Now, in warm weather, yes. This rubber is good, but it's easy, very, very easy to get nicked up, and it is very, very easy to get creased, even from putting it in your holster. Even from laying it in your bucket and letting the rubber rest. Sorbo, you won't have that problem. It'll flex right back to its original shape. If you rest it on something, it will not crease it. You will not leave lines. You will leave lines with Razor Red. You will leave lines with Wagtail if you have it resting on there. It's more of a stiffer rubber. This is soft rubber. Soft rubbers do not crease very well. This is not a soft rubber. This is like in between. Although it does not feel like in between, it feels more on the hard side, but you will have problems with crease on these rubbers. This brand more so than any. If you breathe on it, it'll crease. All right? Don't take my word for it. Get some. Or if you want to enter my contest, you can get it for free. I will give one of these strips away, and one of the Sorbo away. All right? This will be to the winner, and maybe some other things. So That's my contest coming up next. I don't want to draw this video out because I want to say a whole lot more about really getting into just how these rubbers perform. But I think y'all pretty much get the gist of what you're looking for. If you're looking for longevity, these are the rubbers you want to focus on. Razor Red, Sorbo, Wagtail Red. Then I would say M.A.W for longevity. Now, performance-wise, Black Diamond, very good edge. Leading edge, sharp. Wagtail, you can use that rubber with pure water. This, you can use that rubber, Black Diamond Ruby Red, with pure water. This, I would never suggest using it with pure water. It'll give you some resistance. This, I never suggest using it with pure water. It will give you resistance. This will last long. And I'm very, very curious to see if it'll last longer, if not the same or almost thereabouts, as long as Razor Red. We're going to test this theory, and I'll see y'all in the next video of rubbers. And that's what she said.